World Quality Week takes place every November. It was initiated by the Chartered Quality Institute, or CQI for short, which is a professional body for experts in improving product, project, and service quality. Each year, there's a theme that covers a range of important issues in the profession. This year, the theme is From Compliance to Performance. I'm Rika Sharudi, Senior Content Marketing Manager for Variance Quality and Compliance Solutions. And today I have the pleasure to have Nicole Nevulis, Senior Director of GTM Strategy with me, who not only has hands-on experience in working in a call center, but also talks to quality professionals across various industries on a daily basis. Hello, Nicole.
Hello,
Nicole.
Rika.
Quality assurance often happens behind the scenes, yet it's a very important part of an organization's CX strategy. Why is it important to have a strong quality assurance strategy, in your opinion?
Well, quality assurance impacts multiple areas within an organization, and it's customer satisfaction. When we do the job right and we ensure that we're having high quality services or products, you're naturally going to get higher satisfaction and loyalty. Satisfied customers are more likely to return and recommend your business to others. Cost efficiency is critical as well. When quality evaluations identify problems and they therefore prevent those issues from reoccurring. And that does save time and money. You don't have those repetitive problems happening over and over again. And there's your reputation as well. When you're consistent in delivering a quality service or product, it builds and maintains a strong brand reputation. And a good reputation can be a significant competitive advantage in the market. It also allows industries to really adhere to the standards and regulations, which are often mandatory. So robust QA strategy ensures that your products are meeting these requirements and you avoid legal issues or potential fines, which is akin to risk mitigation, right? It also helps identify those potential risks and vulnerabilities early. And that lets organizations take proactive measures to mitigate them, and it reduces the likelihood of critical failures that could harm the business. And of course, naturally, continuous improvement, right? QA processes often include feedback loops that help to identify areas for improvement. So this leads to not just better, processes over time and better services, but it fosters innovation and efficiency, as well as it improves employee experience. And when employees are able to be coached and they have the information they need to drive the correct customer experience, it also reduces the amount of problem calls that they need to deal with. And that makes a much more positive work environment. And when you don't have to listen to somebody calling in and complaining about something, it certainly keeps your energy level high. And you want to come and work in an organization where you're dealing with happy customers for a predominant part of your day.
Absolutely. So basically, there's a lot that a quality team or a contact center can do for an organization's success. So this year's theme is From Compliance to Performance. How can quality programs promote compliance and help boost agent performance?
Quality programs can examine how is an agent performing against your standards, but can also identify how they are interacting with your customers. So when we take our quality program and we're having an evaluation and we're looking at all those different things, we're finding the nuggets of information that we need so we can be laser focused on really targeting how do we make sure that we are more compliant? What are the things that are getting in the way? What do we do well? And I think that's one of the things often we don't always talk about is we focus on the things that aren't going well, but what are the things that are going well that should be repeatable? And we can bring in the best of both of those to come in and really create a good center of excellence in the way that organizations are performing.
Yeah, so that's a great thought that actually we should focus on the best practices as well, and we need to know what works well in order to make it a habit instead of just focusing on the negative thing. This is something that we normally don't highlight. So I think this World Quality Week gives us a great opportunity to celebrate all of these successes and good practices as well. So as I mentioned in my introduction, you also talk to many of our customers on a daily basis across various industries and organizations of different sizes. And I was just wondering that what do our customers say the biggest challenges are right now in their quality assurance program?
The biggest challenges that our customers are reporting on is the increase in complexity in their organizations. There's more variety in the way that you have to serve the customer these days. Regulations, there's tighter spotlights on them now. And really making sure that not just are they being compliant, so that they're avoiding being splashed into the news, with breaches or non-adherence to standards, but also, from a customer service perspective, it's a very different world today. And so customers expect you to be able to offer multiple flavors of services to them, and it becomes even more of a challenge. So really, the contact center agent today, they're more of a knowledge worker. In fact, quite often they're blending in not just an interaction, whether it's phone or email or a chat on social media, but often these team members are processing and working on the customer work offline, even when there is no customer interaction, right? So the biggest challenge is scalability. You have hundreds of thousands of transactions, millions. One customer I know has millions of phone calls that come in. And the biggest challenge they have is that with traditional quality monitoring, sampling only covers about 1 to 3%, of the actual calls that come in. So there's a huge blind spot that they're dealing with in what's really going on. And what happens is there's a lot of problems that are happening that continue to fester, and they continue to cost the organization money because these customers are calling in repeatedly for the same things over and over again. So big challenge they have is scalability as well. Like, you can't possibly hire a ton of people to go in and evaluate everything. It's just not possible. And so it takes time. And because we don't have the right information, supervisors are spending a lot of time on the floor, having to work with people over and over again to re-review something and coach their employee. And there's that that time, that delay, it drives more conversation. So there's a lot of bias too that comes with a manual evaluation. And so employees are, they report that their employees tend to push back quite a bit to say, but you only talked about, you're only judging me on like 1 or 2 contacts and interactions that I've had. That's not really me. And today's employees, they're very tech savvy that have come in. So they know that organizations should be able to, and they expect better fairness in the way that they're being evaluated.
Yeah, so you mentioned, various challenges from scalability to supervisor and even agent capacity. So how can technology help enhance compliance and performance and quality in general in contact centers?
Sure. The organizations that are cutting edge and really using technology have been looking towards how do you automate your quality management program. And they're not looking at necessarily from automating everything. They're looking at automating the things that are pretty straightforward, right? And they're looking at, did somebody do a greeting? Did somebody do these things? They're also starting to use them in more innovative ways, though. They'll use it to enhance the manual interaction that's going on. So you can do this in a hybrid mode, and that's really where many customers will start out before they move on. They use automation to get that scalability because you can evaluate up to 100% of your interactions, and you never could have done that before. So if you think about what 1 to 3% of 1 million phone calls is, that's it's like a needle in a haystack, right? So they're using it to uncover those blind spots, and it saves supervisors a ton of time because within the same day, you're getting an evaluation done where an agent would have had to wait like weeks and weeks and weeks before they got feedback. So technology from that automation perspective and automating the evaluation and automating the scoring of those evaluations has become critical. But now with Gen AI, organizations, we have customers that are starting to use that in order to detect things like empathy, in order to fast track creating those evaluations to capture that. And that really culminates into behavioral data. Now it's not just taking your quality team, checking, did we do it right? Do we have to do coaching? But it's looking at those behavioral elements of how somebody's engaging with a customer, or what are our customers saying? And so our quality teams are really shifting to not just make sure that organizations are doing what you need to do and you're doing it correctly or finding those problems, but they're looking to evaluate, hey, we've just had a new initiative, and how well are we doing specifically to this initiative? So using AI from a driving outcomes perspective, and that's what we have do here at Verint with our technologies. We use the AI very specifically to driving that outcome around quality, saving the supervisors time in their evaluation process, because you have the automation going through it, and supervisors can focus on more value added things, such as, coaching, saying, what can I do to be successful? What do I need to do to, help you and guide you on your journey, versus having to look through all of the information. It's really become a game changer for them, because the employees are more willing to listen to the feedback, because you've evaluated all of their engagement, not just like this small window. The blind spots really, customers are finding out when they bring in technology, it's you're finding out what's in those 97% of transactions that aren't being monitored. I think we've called it before, Reka, lurking. What's lurking in the background?
Exactly.
And so you don't know what you don't know, and it's not it's not somebody's fault as an organization. You just don't know. And we also see organizations bringing in things like desktop analytics as well to look at monitoring engagement. Right? We look at the quality evaluation, but are there certain behaviors somebody's doing on the desktop that may mitigate, the customer experience or the quality of the work that we do? So I always think about the analogy around the National Transportation Board has stated that when you are texting and driving, or doing something else, even in driving, you become 50% less aware of what is going on around you. So if we're engaged in behavior on the desktop, and I think we've all even seen it, right? We're multitasking, right? And somebody's in a meeting and multitasking, and then all of a sudden somebody says, hey, Nicole, so what do you think on this? And you get the deer in headlight looks, right? And that type of distraction, bringing in some desktop analytics to look at that behavior as well. But then when you bring in it all together, right, you've got a 360-degree view. So, quality is definitely more than quality management solutions. It's really looking at, one, how do I turn this into like the powerhouse in my organization, and how we can drive business value? How can we tap into and use our capacity in a more effective way? And I think that the other thing organizations are looking at is where are the other drivers that are capacity, and not just from that suck our capacity into dealing with problems. And that's looking in the people who process the work for the customers in operations, or sometimes back office operations, will be called. And when the work that they're doing is late, or it's not done correctly, that is a quality issue. You make a promise to get something done on time to a customer. You make a promise to do it right. Well, those challenges there circle back into your contact center. And that can be, according to some Aberdeen research, up to 17% of the calls that come in. So if you have a 1,000-person contact center, what's 17% of that? That's a lot of folks that are focusing on dealing with problem issues. So it's critical that our quality programs as well, we start to adopt a strategy where we're bringing in technology across the functional areas of the organization, so we can have one holistic view of it. And that's where the best in class organizations, those are the practices they're doing. They're taking the technology, they're using automation to lift the load, they're using AI to get smarter, to tap into new nuances. And then they're looking at, well, what are the other areas within our business that contribute to customer experience as well as compliance and regulatory requirements?
Wow, really great points. And as you pointed out, compliance and quality should be, like an across the board responsibility and an across the board activity as well. And this is where technology and Verin solutions can actually help our customers. Well, Nicole, this has been a really insightful conversation. Thank you very much for your time today. And to your audience, thank you very much for celebrating World Quality Week with us. We hope that you also found today's conversation helpful. And to find out more about how Verin can help you improve your contact center quality and drive real business AI outcomes now, don't hesitate to reach out to us by leaving a comment and visit verin.com. Thank you very much for your attention today.